the discursive meditation is beneficial unto itself towards good mental health, relaxation of the body, even self-actualizing tendencies or promotion of those tendencies. So, the second benefit would be moving into a deeper meditation from that more discursive meditation, moving into a deeper non-discursive meditation. One of the techniques that we use in discursive meditation to get to that non-discursive place, which is deeper, more conducive to learning attention and presence, building will, and many, many other things, is a technique we call Lectio Divina, from the Latin meaning divine reading. I have here with me a book that I have not read, interestingly, written by Marcus Aurelius, and his meditations. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor around 100 or 120 AD, who really would be considered today a kind of a mystic or a seeker of mystical pursuits and benefits. And so in Lectio Divina, we can use a book or this kind of thing to set ourselves up discursively for a non-discursive, or more pointedly, concentration type meditation. Now, we are concentrating if we read something from a good inspirational book. We are concentrating. But we're going to be thinking about it. There's going to be meditation. And so, because of that, we would think of it as a discursive discourse, inner discourse meditation. And the way this works, Lectio Divina, has 4 parts to it. They're all in the Latin. Lectio, oratio, meditatio, and contemplatio. You can tell, if you know English, something about what those words are referring to. Contemplation, meditation, reading, thinking deeply. But they're put in a certain order and used in religion and spiritual practices for attainment of the things I mentioned before. We're going to craft them in this whole Lectio in a shorter way. And we're going to say, the technique is, for our purposes now, introductory purposes, is to read a passage, or to read until we find a passage that is meaningful. Then we dwell on that passage. We read it over again and over again in order to extract the deeper meaning of it. And we're thinking about it. Then we get an insight, perhaps. And when we get that insight about what we're reading that applies to us or applies to something important to us, we then shift from that insight into the non-discursive or concentration type meditation. I'll show you a bit of that. So, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius is a book filled with sutras or maxims of all kinds. I will read one I've selected that's more provocative than others, and you can get an idea of how Lectio Divina, a form of discursive meditation, would go. So I read from Marcus Aurelius, book 6, actually, Sutra, or Maxim 52. Marcus Aurelius' thinking, his reflection about how to live life, and how to live a higher kind of life, and a maxim that he has had the insight to gain. This is it. Quote, it is in our power to have no opinion about a thing, and not to be disturbed in our soul. For things themselves have no natural power to form our judgments. Now, an average person, even someone who's not on a mystical path, can see that this is a pretty rich sentence or two. Pretty thought out. So it's like, wait, there's something here. Let's read this again and see if we can get it. It is in our power to have no opinion about a thing. Well, let's take that alone. Why would that be the case? Why would it be important or interesting to have no opinion about a thing? Of course, for me, knowing the answer to this, it's going to be that many opinions about things are stressful. And they just create more drama in life. Not that there's something wrong with opinions, but for the purposes of relaxation and cultivating inner virtue, having less opinions about things is more conducive to acquiring self-actualization and moving toward self-realization. It is in our power to have no opinion about a thing and to not be disturbed in our soul. There it is, he says, not be disturbed in our soul. And I can add to that, not be disturbed in mind or body about it either. One of the ways I can characterize this is if you ask me if I'd like some coffee cake. And I say to you, without thinking about it, no thank you. Already have formed an earlier opinion in my mind that sugar is really not that good for me, and so I say, no thank you. And I step away from the drama that I might create if I had thought about it. You ask me, would I like some cupcake? I say, ooh, I love cupcakes. I love coffee cake. But it's got a lot of sugar. I shouldn't really have it. But maybe a little piece I'd have. And I can go into a whole drama about it. Or I can say, no thank you, having cultivated the discipline to control my sugar through thinking about the trouble sugar causes, meditating on the sugar-free state and how I might feel and look in that state. It is in our power to have no opinion about a thing. It's in my power to dismiss opinion and not to be disturbed in our souls. Now that's only one half of the sutra, and already we're thinking deeply about this and getting some insights. I'm getting some insights. Yes, I would like to attain the state where I do not have to have an opinion about something. You may be trying to entice me into some drama with you, and I say, no thank you. I prefer not to think about this or not to think about this way. Now, I've gotten some insights. This will help because I've exercised my mental faculties. This reading now will help me to move and switch to a non-discursive meditation where I say, I've thought deeply about something here. It's good for me. It promotes self-actualization. Now I'm going to go and practice a non-discursive, non-opinion state. I'm going to practice no opinions about anything that comes into my mind. Now I have more of a motivation with this, the help of Lectio Divina. I have more of an aid and motivation to practice a very, very high-powered skill building, discipline building, will building, focused, present-centered meditation. And now I will shut down, sit in my meditation, and do the steps of non-discursive or concentration meditation. When I rouse myself from my brief meditation, I find that I am deeply relaxed, highly content. I might even say joyful, just being in my own place, in my own mind, in my own state of calm. Because this is the case, I resolve to do this more. And I'm getting ready to get up and go about my day. And I find that the futility isn't as prominent as it was before. The meaninglessness of fighting through this life isn't as influential as before. I'm ready to face my day and enjoy every last experience and encounter. Because the extended benefits that I've received from this short meditation are having their influence on me, and they're making me very happy. I took one deep preparatory cleansing breath after making sure that my body was disciplined, in a disciplined place and comfortable, which it is. I took one deep preparatory cleansing breath because I was doing what I thought would be a brief meditation. Ordinarily, I will take 6 or 10 such breaths, deep, slow, and smooth. During that time, I'll be watching that breath very carefully, making it deep, slower, and smoother. Smooth meaning not choppy, not hesitant, so that the quality of my breath is going to determine to some great extent the quality of my meditation. Because we think of, as the ancients do, breath as life force. The breath is beating, just like my heart is beating. It's the only other organ that's so active in my body. People don't think of it that way. They never think of the diaphragm as another kind of heart, but it is. It's a muscle that is responsible for the heart even beating. And it beats all by itself. You can leave it alone and it will continue to beat that diaphragm through the night. Different than the heart, though, in general, is you can take that diaphragm offline and hold it. Stop it from beating. For a while, anyway. Before it insists again that it's going to start beating. So I watch the diaphragm beat. That's the next step in my meditation. I watch it beat as I do my 6 or 8 or 10 or 12 deep, slow, cleansing breaths, having taken my diaphragm and my breathing off automatic, and I'm running it manually by actually doing the breathing myself intentionally. And this is important for a second step of meditation. The first step being my comfortable position and in a place that will not disturb me enough to disrupt my meditation. So there I have 2 of the horses that pull this carriage of non-discursive meditation. My posture that is comfortable and my breath that is automatic, is manual, run manually. The third stage, which should be used by most people in learning non-discursive meditation, is mantra. I'm not going to tell you my mantra, but you should have a mantra eventually and use it and coordinate it with your breath. It's another way of bringing discipline to mind, is coordinated mantra. It's way, way more important than that, but that's enough for now. It's a way to bring discipline to mind. So that instead of being discursive and discussing things mentally, it's all shut down and poured into the mantra breath, the cycle of breath. That breath in the East is called prana, pranayama, meaning the life force movement and control. And so in that place then, after the Lectio Divina, a very active or mind, or a person who has a mind that's not very disciplined, can bring more discipline to meditation and therefore gain more of the benefits and extended benefits of meditation. Another way I use for generating a nice, quiet, meditative experience is to give credibility and give time to my insights. When I start to meditate, I begin to get insights. It's been this way from early on. But as I get older and more skillful, more insights come. So I give vent to those insights by keeping clipboards with lots of paper nearby so I can write down those insights. When I'm satisfied that I've got a good hunk of insights, ego says, okay, now I'll help you meditate, and I'm willing to meditate. And so my ego doesn't disturb me then and is willing to sit quietly with my higher self in the calm and the peace of that.